If it's riding up, just.
It looks great though. Rudy's pain.
Thank you. Okay.
Well,
I know it didn't work for the first time. It's the first one.
you? Beautiful day. For some reason, walking outside today, it felt extra cold. I don't know why that is, because the sun's kind of down. So I still got my jacket on, but it's nice and toasty in here. Welcome to Althea. And I will just read the first part of my script, which says, turn off cell phones. It doesn't say please, it doesn't say would you mind, it doesn't say we'd appreciate it if, it just says turn off cell phones. So you can put it on stun if you want, or silent. As Rick always says, our Sergeant at Arms, Sarma, will be glad to assist you if your phone should make any squelching noises during the service. And that's a scary thing. If all of those of you who know Sarma, you don't want that to happen. So welcome, and we'll just start with what we do every Sunday. We make 2 acknowledgments, just to remind ourselves of how we want to grow and embrace and welcome. And the first one is acknowledging this land upon which this incredible building sits and which we are now inside. We acknowledge that this land is indigenous land to several groups of indigenous people in the United States, the Cheyenne, the Arapaho, and the Ute people, and possibly even before them, other groups that we don't even know about lived on the same land. So we like to acknowledge that. And we know that this ground was to them very sacred, and that kind of helps us even feel more of a sacred feeling when we're in this space, knowing that this building is 100 years old, but the land is a little older than that. So it goes back probably more than 100 years. We also want to acknowledge that we are looking to expand and grow the diversity in this community. We have a long way to go, like many groups do, but we are really trying to open ourselves up to embracing more diversity in our group. And we are doing what we can to allow that to happen. We set it as a big intention. And we need to figure out ways to practice this. And so we ask for everyone's help and feedback to get us to a place of a deep belonging to everyone. So I'd also like to welcome anyone that might be here for the first time. If you would feel comfortable raising your hand, if you're here for the first time, welcome. We have a flower for you so that we can know who you are and run up to you afterwards and try not to embarrass you, or some of us might try to embarrass you, who knows. But welcome, and we do have lunch after the service, and if you would like to join us for lunch, that flower will get you in free. So it's kind of like one of those Monopoly did that in jail free, except you get into lunch free. So we're going to continue this morning with our opening prayer by Anna Julia.
Okay, can you hear me okay? Is this good? You can hear, I don't want to blast your eardrums, but I want you to hear. All right, good morning. I'm blessed and honored to be here in this room. And what I'd like to do is bless our hearts first, most importantly. Take some nice deep breaths, just comfortable and relaxing to your own pace. Close your eyes. Just breathe into yourself and breathe into this moment. We're all blessed to be in this room. You're safe. You're safe right now. You're safe to be yourself. You're safe to Let yourself feel whatever you feel, whatever comes up, it's okay. Just breathe into that. Let's visit our mind. Let's say, thank you, mind. Thank you for your brilliance. Thank you for everything you give me. Thank you for our over moments. And love it. And respect our mind. Respect your own mind. It's a special place. Only you have the thoughts that you have, and you're very unique. And just breathe into that. Now let's visit our hearts. Our beautiful hearts. Out of the billions of people that are on this planet, no heart is like yours. You're very unique. Your soul is beautiful. Your heart is big. It can be tough to have such a big heart in this world, but you have it. But bless your heart right now. Give it love. Give it the love that only you in spirit can give it. Say, I love you, heart. Thank you for taking us this far. Thank you for still loving after everything we've been through. I love you and value you. Breathe into that. Let's combine our minds and hearts together, and this is our essence. This is where we are our most ourselves. This is where we can find spirit at any time. Sometimes the messages here are wonderful, and sometimes they're not always what we want to hear. But you can always go back to your heart and appreciate its honesty and its beauty. It's all yours. It's very unique. It's very special. It's very important that you nurture and love your beautiful, sweet heart. And just breathe into that. Love yourself very deeply. You're in a safe space to love yourself very, very deeply. And you can always come back to this moment. You can always come back to your heart and the truth. There's a lot of love in this room. Let's just quickly and thoroughly bless the whole earth. Bless your heart first, and make sure your heart is blessed and full. Bless the water droplets. Bless all the sea creatures. Bless the air. Bless everyone who breathes this air. Bless all the seen beings of this earth, and bless all the unseen beings of this earth. Bless the sweet ones. Bless the ones that are not so easy to love. Bless everything. Bless everything on this earth. Breathe into that love and that peace. And whatever your heart's feeling, it's okay. It's not always going to feel peace and love, and that's okay. Sometimes it's just a response to this troubled world, and that's okay. But honor it always. Honor what it tells you. Breathe into that. And respect yourself. Come back to this room. Come back to your heart. Come back to your mind. Just breathe into that for a moment before we start the rest of our day. Okay, open your eyes. You're good. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. Please stand as you're able and join me in our glorious statement of reading. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. We are a family. You are the face of God. With you.
She is Vidushi Goyal, but she is AKA Mr. Knobs with K in front. But we don't pronounce the K, it's silent. One of those wonderful things about our language. She's an eclectic singer and songwriter, and she has also turned into a producer. Mr. Knobs performs with vigor and emotion, and they will take you through a nihilistic lens on love and life. I have no idea what that means. But I assume she knows what it means, and so we will soon find out. So please join me in welcoming our musician this morning. And friend.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me again. These are one of those special gigs I get to do, and so being able to come over and over, it feels, I just feel more and more connected to this community. And only singing. And this is Paul, and he's going to do some harmonies for me today.
Thank you. So now I get to introduce our speaker today, and if those of us that have been here for a while have seen him quite a few times before, and I always look forward to being with him and knowing that I'm going to be lifted up in ways that I have no idea. His name is Stephen Burge. He is Denver-based performer, storyteller, director, and arts educator. He's appeared on all stages all across the Front Range, including Denver Center for the Performing Arts, the Arvada Center for Arts and Humanities, Curious Theater, and more. He and his sister were raised in a liberal-leaning Christian home in rural America, and he's still able to find comfort in several aspects of his family's faith traditions. Stephen wants to thank Jenny Castleberry for introducing him to this incredibly affirming and always welcoming outfit and community. And we welcome him and affirm him also. So please join me in welcoming Stephen.
Like Patricia said, I very similarly, having had the opportunity to come spend time with all y'all several times, I feel more connected to you every single time I come. So thank you very much for opening your hearts and arms and brains and all to me. Thank you very much. As is mentioned in my introduction, I was raised in a Christian household, and I feel like that's always important to start with so that you know where I'm coming from. That's the easiest place for me to access my faith and access the source. But I certainly don't think that's the only way to access the source for a person's faith. And that was pretty drilled into me and my sister as we were growing up, that even though this was one answer, it wasn't the only answer. And it was a really interesting thing because I have notes right here. I'm not reading. I am reading, actually literally reading, but that's only to remind me what I'm going to say off the cuff next. That is an interesting thing because I recently made a friend who shall remain nameless because I think that she's lovely. She is new to faith. She's found the Christian faith, and she's found a very, very conservative Christian faith. And I was having this really great conversation with her, so I thought, and we were talking about how Jesus is the way and the light and all that. And I was like, yes, and also I think Buddha and Muhammad and all this. And she was like, no, there's only one way. And it became this weird conversation where I was like, wait. So you're telling me that the God you worship is so scientific and smart-brained that he, she, they can create the whole galaxy and the whole universe, and so artistic and so creative that he, she, they can create sunsets and flowers and weird lizards that turn colors, but he is neither smart nor creative enough to find more than one pathway to him? No, I don't believe that, not for 1 second. So one of the reasons I like coming here is because that idea of faith is very important to me, and I know that it's important to you, so thanks again for having me. New Year's is my favorite holiday. It has been for quite a while, and that is because I feel like if you want to start over fresh, just start all over, you can. It's a good day to do that. I don't believe it's the only day to do that. I believe if you want to start over, you can do that any day of any week of any month that you want, but it's a good one. But as I got older, I started to realize that I didn't want to always start over. There were things that I wanted to change, but there were some things that were working in my life last year that I would like to bring into this year. So a good example of that is I am in my 3rd year of sobriety, right? So prior to that, I like to say that when I come here because y'all clap every single time. And I do that. You know those love languages? It's like words of affirmation, time spent, physical touch, acts of service. Mine are applause. So that's my love language. So thank you. Shameless. So prior to 3 years ago, my New Year's Day often looked very painful. I would go out and I would drink and I would just get annihilated and have so much fun. And then the next day I would wake up very, very sick and questioning all my life choices and on some kind of shame spiral. And that is how I started many of my years. And for the past 3 years, instead, I have not done that. The first year, as a sober person, I was like, what do I do on New Year's Eve? I don't know. So I didn't really do anything but sit there and be worried. And then the next year, I think it was the COVID time, so there really wasn't much to do, so I just became very introspective, and I made a to-do list and plans and all of that. And then this year, what I did was I went to my friend Kim's house, and she led me in restorative yoga and intention setting. I learned that restorative yoga is my favorite kind of yoga because most of you just lay down with a pillow between your knees and like a weighted blanket right on your hips, and it feels so good. I have done aerial yoga when I was hungover. I almost threw up when I was upside down. I've done the hot yoga. I almost threw up when I was totally sober because that's terrible. So I really appreciate the restorative yoga, and through that, I was able to sort of be contemplative and set intentions for the way I wanted to live 2023. Because like I said, not everything in 2022 was great. So I would like to evolve the stuff that wasn't so great, but some of it was fine, wonderful even. And so I would like to bring that forward into the new year. And I invite all of you to do the same. That if there's something that didn't work, change it. And if there's something that worked really, really well, just continue on with that and live your life in the new year in your most authentic skin. So this is where it gets, I really need this right here. Oh no, yes I do. Okay, so when Ginny had invited me to speak today, I was like, oh, I have a perfect idea. I'll have everyone breathe, and then I will have everyone think about the new year, and I'll have them write down their intention or their resolution, and then we'll share it. And she's like, that is a really good idea. In fact, that is such a good idea. That's what we did last week. So, we're just going to expand on that. Right now, I would love for you to think about what intention you set last year, or what your goal is, or resolution, if that's the word you like. Think about it, and what it means to yourself. But then take it one step further, and think about how that intention can impact this community, Althea specifically, and then the larger community, Denver, and then hopefully the whole world. What are you doing with your new year to benefit yourself, of course, and how will that benefit the communities that you serve? And would you like to play a little thinking music? You can if you want to. Great. I'm going to go sit down here and think myself, and I'll be back in a second. That's my soft, soothing voice. Look at that, great. Come back into the room with your brains and your eyeballs and your ideas. And instead of writing things down like you did last week, we're just going to pass this mic, and we're going to talk a little tiny bit about what your intention was that you came up with last week and how you think it might impact the greater community. And if you don't want to share, that's totally fine. I chose not to wrap up with this so that if it failed miserably, I would not fail along with it. This one?
Which it?
Oh, you got that mic? Never mind.
It's on.
Does anybody want to kick us off? Are any of this working? Or tell me about later on.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Is this working?
Yes.
Is this working? Can you hear? No.
Stephen, is it turned on the mic?
What a great question. Turn it on. It's green.
Yeah, I guess. Is this one? Is this one?
We can do this another way. I feel like this space has good acoustics.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here goes
okay.
Jason.
All right. When Jason comes in, let's apply for him too. This is great because you've had a lot more time than just the intro and chorus of Let It Go to figure out what you want to say during this part, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
Come on, Jason!
Yeah.
Okay, here, this one works. Do either of those work?
No.
That's all right. No? Great, perfect. So then I'll give this to you, and I'm going to repeat the question. The question is, or the topic is, what is your intention or your resolution for 2023? How will it serve you? But more importantly, how will it serve the communities you love?
Well, I'll speak first. One of my biggest resolutions was to be more creative and produce, not just producing things, but with ideas. And so I know the more I work on that myself, the more it's going to help wherever I am.
Hi everyone, happy New Year. It's the first time I've been here. We'll see everyone. Well, as some of you know, I came to this community to build a program called the Ideas of Love Paradigm. And the premise of it is that we can build healthy relationships, which is what life is all about, centered on coming together, uniting on the purpose of realizing love. And this community has nurtured me in the past year in fine-tuning those ideas and has been so incredibly supportive. And I have really, really big hopes for it in the new year. And pray that by doing programs in this wonderful venue that I can bless this community and the larger community and attract highly spiritually minded movers and shakers into this community.
I think I saw this person's hand, yes?
Really close. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Kira. My New Year's resolution was to basically take all of my creativity, all of my skills, and my loves and my passions, and put them into a production company that I started last year. This production company is going to produce a show that basically highlights people's experiences in order to heal in communities all over the United States. And so it's taken me to really hone into myself, get in touch with myself, and just battle those belief systems that are serving me. This is going to be a catalyst. This is going to be amazing. I haven't had much sleep, so I can't say much of it, but if you do want to talk to me about it, I'm so happy to talk about it. It makes me so happy to hear about it. So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Heather. This is my first time here ever, including this new year. Last year my word was integrity, because I read this book called The Way to Integrity with Brennan at the end. She was like, oh my God, I have lived such a life of integrity. And I was like, oh my God, I am living a life. I'm so jealous. So last year was integrity, which I did a great job with, but it was deeply uncomfortable. And so this year my word is home. To really authentically feel at home within myself. Because I know the more that I do, that I can create and extend home outside of myself. There you go.
Oh, look, there's someone up there.
So my intention for this year was to let things go, because I realized that I was kind of pulling mines wherever I went, because I was holding on to yucky stuff, and I'm doing pretty well, knock on building, and I feel that it helps me to be more present in my community. I can listen better and just just be more honest and present, and that's it.
Did I see you raise your hand? Did I make that up? Oh, that's my bad, I bet. Sorry.
Apparently blocking these.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's further, who knows. I want to, building on one of my favorite people and philosophers and spiritual persons, Ralph Waldo Emerson, I want to do something that's foolish, not logical, and unreasonable, at least 1 month of the year. And if I do that, I think it'll be helpful for this community.
That's awesome.
This is great because I'm not going to be able to do the deep dive this time, so I'm sort of like conquering that within this moment. So, good job, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
My goal this New Year's to grow in my meditation practice and to help others grow theirs. And with that, eventual goal of opening up a meditation center.
I love it. I love it. Others? Anyone else want to share? Yes? We have one more down here. Okay, two more.
Yes. One of my words was celebration. And I just want to continue celebrating life and love. And after hearing Mark, I know we can celebrate some more because it's so much fun.
The last couple of years, I allowed myself just to only see dark and gray. And I came here last week and had a particularly good day. And then again, and I know there's much magic and miracles, miraculous people here. You know, it's totally clear. And I've had the privilege recently to look at them up close, about an arm's length away. That's awesome.
Anyone else? Okay. And over here.
Mine is to slow down the pace. And in Russian culture, I have realized I'm in a Russian myself when I don't need to be. And so I slow down. That will influence others to slow down. And I think rushing excludes. So by slowing down, I think inclusivity can grow. And I have Turtle here as a reminder.
Oh, I love it. I love coming here because I hear things like that. I've never heard that before. Rushing breeds exclusivity, and to slow down breeds inclusivity. I'm going to take that with me, so thank you. Thank her.
I like what most everybody else has said, but was balance, and it kind of fits with the anti-rushing theme. But balance for me, particularly between order, which I have a little trouble with order, not really very importantly, with order and creativity, because I believe to be able to access creativity, they need to have an environment of order as opposed to complete chaos. And then the more I'm able to be balanced, the more I will hopefully see it in the world.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up, if that's okay, unless someone is like, this is the thing that's gonna change everyone's life. Okay, and I'm gonna wrap this part up, but I'm gonna invite you to, if you do a deep dive, continue this conversation going there or wherever you might be in the world. The other part of this this morning was the parable of the lonely emperor. When I spoke with Ginny, I said, there's a parable in the Bible where Jesus is talking about coals and embers and how if one of them goes away, then it burns out. And Ginny was like, I don't know that one. And I was like, it's in there. And so then I looked and I couldn't find it. And I called my mom, who is a minister. And I said, Mom, do you know that parable that Jesus talked about, the coals and the embers, and you need each other to burn and ignite? She's like, gosh, I don't think I know that. And I was like, no, it's in there. She's like, I know this. And so she, a minister, went through the Bible, like all the parables, and she's like, I just don't remember this. And I was so insistent. And I started to Google, and I found out, nope, it's not in there. And this is one of the things I encourage all of us to let go of. These are two intelligent, informed, expert women. One white guy was like, no, it's in there. And they're like, what? And they're what? And I was just so convinced that I sent them both into this search for a parable that doesn't exist. Because sometimes we don't know what we're talking about. Listen to the ladies, all right? Okay, so it is not a parable. It is, in fact, this situation. So sorry, Mama. A member of a certain church who previously had been attending services regularly stopped going. After a few weeks, the pastor decided to visit him. It was a chilly evening, and the pastor found the man at home alone, sitting before a blazing fire. Guessing the reason for the pastor's visit, the man welcomed him, led him to a big chair near the fireplace, and waited. The pastor made himself comfortable, but said nothing. In the grave silence, he contemplated the play of the flames around the burning logs. After some minutes, the pastor took the fire tongs, carefully picked up the brightly burning ember, and placed it to one side of the hearth all alone. Then he sat back in his chair, still and silent. The host watched all of this in quiet fascination. As the one lonely ember's flame diminished, there was a momentary glow, and then the fire was no more. Soon it was cold and dead. Not a word had been spoken since the initial greeting. Just before the pastor was ready to leave, he picked up the cold, dead ember and placed it back in the middle of the fire. Immediately it began to glow once more, and the light and warmth of the glowing coals around it. As the pastor reached the door to leave, his host said, "Thank you so much for your visit, and especially for the fiery sermon. I shall be back in church next Sunday." So that is not a parable, but it's a good one. And it resonated with me when I was a child enough that I put it into the Bible myself. So of course that means that if you are a person of faith and you leave your faith community, your passion for the Lord, the source, might diminish and burn out. But there is another side to this that I've been thinking about. And that is that these flames, when you are thrown into this fire and you become part of the fire, fire can do amazing things. It can be very, very, very destructive. So you can be a part of a faith community that believes pretty hateful things, and you can spread like fire and burn other people down, burn their faith down, destroy them. Or you can be a part of a faith community like Althea, and that fire can be warm and glowing and life-giving. So I encourage you to stay together and to burn brightly together in a healing, loving way that I know you already do into 2023. The last thing I'm going to do is certainly the gayest thing that I've ever done here. I've talked at Pride Sunday, all sorts of stuff. I'm about to show you 2 clips, the quick change from Frozen's Let It Go. And then I'll explain why in a second. Why did I stop? I think you should take up an offering for like a sound table so that we don't have to lay on the stage like this and do this kind of thing. Yes, okay. About 45, yeah. All right, so just watch this. I saw this 4 times when it was here. It had its pre-Broadway show here in Denver. I'm telling you, when that part happened in real life, 4-year-old girls and 40-year-old queens leapt to our feet. We just were like, ah! Okay, now I'm going to show you the same thing from a different angle. That would be so great, but I don't know. I don't think it works on this one. I think it works on the other one. But we'll get to the point very quickly here. Okay, so here's the point of this. The first version, the first one that we saw, it's the magic, right? You see everything is perfect, you can hear her clearly, the effects all work, the dress comes off, she sounds great, everyone loses their mind. And what you are witnessing is this one momentary piece of magic, right? It's like 2 seconds. And the second version, especially when it's bigger, I encourage you to look this up because it's a really good point that might be better maybe if you can see it better. You can see that one of her friends in the ensemble is filming this, right? And you can see that there's a laser that you actually probably can't see, which is where she knows where to hit her mark so that the costume person can pull the dress off. It's under the stage. You can see the pyro go, the glitter go, that's distracting you to, make sure you're like, wow, look at all this, did I just see the dress change? You can hear, instead of her vocals, clearly, you can hear the ensemble sing, whoa, 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 right? All of these things, and then as the camera goes, you see the people who only see the magic in front of them leap to their feet. But leap to their feet, but really what is happening is there is a costumer, there is an entire ensemble of people, there is the lighting designer, the pyro designer, all of these people come together with their own piece of magic, their own skill to create what everyone sees as a 2-second quick change that is the talk of the town for years and years, right? So I encourage you, so if this girl is Althea, and she's out there saying the words, spreading the word, doing whatever she does that creates magic in other people's lives, all of you are making the magic behind her. All of you are making all of the technical stuff, the magic stuff that really truly brings that magic into other people's lives. That's you. So I encourage you to let it go, as this woman up here mentioned, and own your tiny piece of the magic that you can bring into 2023 to make the big magic happen for everyone around you. Thank you.
Program to be sure it was me who was next. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to read a poem by John O'Donohue. So first, I'm just going to share with you how I was introduced to him. I like it. I was in Dublin, Ireland, visiting a friend of mine, and I was to leave the next day. And about mid-afternoon, there was a knock on the door. It was the neighbor up the street. So my friend, in the Irish custom, said, "Come on in and have a cup of tea." And which is also the Irish custom, that you can stay for a couple of hours. So during that time, they were talking about this new book. And in the conversation, I thought, oh, I kind of like that. Maybe I'd like to get that book. Well, in the morning, I was, of course, running around because I had to get to the airport to leave, and the neighbor up the street came to the door, and she gave me the book, Annam Cara by John O'Donohue. So by the time I got back to Denver, having had with the book, I was madly in love with John O'Donohue. So the poem I'm going to read is from Annam Cara, which means soul friend in Gaelic. And the name of the poem is Blessings. On the day when life deadens on the day when life deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets to you, may a lock of color, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas sprays on the curragh of thought and the stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a patch of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. And may the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a low wind work these words of love around you, like an invisible cloak to mind your life.
Hi everyone. I have one more song for you.
Another round of applause for Stephen. That was a really What's it like? So simple and divine, like listening to Anya on our drive, evading time, wondering what it would be like if you stayed, be my big sis for days. Would have done that traveling like we said, over the photos of you take. Would it be like that time we felt so alive, made fun of growing old, got food that made us sick, we learned our lessons oh so quick. I didn't know you could laugh at the base of an empty tank with 100 miles left to go. That was till I met you. Until I met you. I still think of you when I'm the horses with small talk at the supermarket. I still think of you when I'm the horses with small talk at the supermarket. I still think of you when I'm the horses with small talk at the supermarket. The truth is, it's just the way it is. And if you wanted to stay, you'd ask where I was playing, and you wouldn't miss it for the world. And when I fall apart and you've gone away, I'm still laughing when it rains. It's insane. Some people just come and go. I still think of you when I'm the horses with small talk at the supermarket. I still think of you when I'm the horses with small talk at the supermarket. You came in like a river, so soft and sweet. You left like a river crashing through, absent-mindedly, absent-mindedly, absent-mindedly.
Thank you. And now is the time that we get to share and participate in what we call the circle of money, the circle of life, the circle of giving and receiving. And one of my teachers used to say that by giving, what we are really doing is also priming the pump. Now, some people of a certain age will know what a pump is, other people might not. But in the old days, you had to put water in the pump before you started pumping it, or it wouldn't work. So this is priming the pump and participating in the act of giving and receiving, because it's all one circle. It's all one big, incredible cosmic event, giving and receiving. And so just to remind you that the basket is kind of an old-fashioned way of giving, but we like being old-fashioned. If you want to be new-fashioned, you can take your credit card and dip it in a little machine back there. You just go dippity, 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 and every time you dippity, it takes $10 out, and it helps prime the pump of Althea. So you're welcome to do that. You can also go online. You can also use the little, I forget what that is because I'm old-fashioned, QR thing on the back. And give that way. You can do a monthly donation, which is what I do. I have the money come out every week, and I don't have to think about it. And I know that I'm continually priming the pump, and that's a good thing. So thank you. And if you would all join me in our affirmation that we make. There it is. The universe provides all that I need and all that I give. With great joy, I share my prosperity, planting seeds for a world I am helping to manifest. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Precious. Also, just while he's up here, that's Sam in the middle. And he's been back in the children's corner that we just started right after New Year's. And he's been having fun playing with a guy that's back there to just wave to me. So if you have kids that you would like to bring, we welcome them here. And this is the beginning of our children's program. And so just invite you to bring kids that you know, or if you find someone on the street that look like they might have fun, bring them in. Okay, now it's time for what we call prayers of the people. And I know that we already did some previous sharing, but if you have, in addition to what you already shared this morning, if you have something on your mind that you would like support for, we send these prayers out to about 20 practitioners who look at them and hold them in their heart and do affirmative prayer on them on your behalf or on behalf of who you would like a prayer for. So we have a microphone available. If you just raise your hand if you would like to share a concern or a joy, and we will make sure that happens.
Well, I want to say thank you to everybody here in Althea. I ended up spending Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's in the hospital. I had osteomyelitis. It's an infection that's in the bone. But I wanted to say thank you for all the prayers for everybody out there that prayed for me. I'm back and I'm healthy and feeling good. Thank you.
Welcome back to our
I just wanted to express my gratitude to Althea for this community. In the last year and a half, getting closer to 2 years now, we have had a spiritual director that departed, moved on, and things were at a peak then. There was so much wonderful stuff happening here. So I know some people mourned and grieved over the loss of Jonathan at that time. Then we had a new director, and it was a little different for the community. I think there was a sense of separation for some, but we rallied in the last 6 or 7 months. I think that we have come together actually in a more unified way. People have stepped forward from the community in different ways. Other people have added things, and we have had different speakers, and I think it's just been very lovely. I think there's a sense more of collaboration and just more feeling like family, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to share with a prayer? Lee up front.
Yes, I just wanted to thank people for the prayers for my son. I prayed for him and was very concerned and upset for several days and a week. And I see real progress going on, and I say thank you.
is Nancy here? I know she maybe was going to be here and maybe isn't, I can't.
Suzanne's taking.
Suzanne? Okay, great. So we do have a prayer partner available in the library after service, right after the service. If you would like to sit down with Suzanne and tell her what your joy or concern is, and she will offer an affirmative prayer on your behalf right when you're sitting with her. This is a great blessing, not only for you to do it, but also for her as the prayer partner to be able to participate in this. So I invite anyone who would like to do that to go to the library right after the service. And now we have what everyone has been waiting for. The announcements.
We do everything we can to make announcements exciting, because they're not by their nature. Good morning, I am Ginny Castleberry, and I'm part of the team that brings you the Sunday experience, like amazing speakers like Stephen Burge. One more round of applause for Stephen. Thank you. And the beautiful and talented Paul and Bedushi, who sang for us and harmonized and played for us today. And if you like what you heard today from Bedushi, she is in a performance at the Littleton Town Hall Arts Center called In the Trenches, January only. I got to see her perform this pre-pandemic at the Jewish Community Center. It is hilarious. It is a funny musical, and I believe it's local folks who actually wrote it, directed. Yes, it is amazing. A funny, funny musical. So this is the Littleton Town Hall Arts Center, so Google that, In the Trenches, and you can get to see Bedushi do this live. We have many things that go on at Althea on a Sunday and on other days. As Bob mentioned, we have prayer partners immediately after. So if you would like someone to pray affirmative prayer with you, that's what will happen in the historic library just behind this wall. And also right after, we have a lovely, lovely lunch in our dining room. So join us there. And Heather will make sure that you get a flower because it's your first Sunday. Oh, let me get you a whole one, I promise. Yeah, there's a few there. It'll open up. So it's on us for your first Sunday. If you can't stay with us this first time, come back and it's still on us. And even if you do have to help donate to our Sunday, stay with us. It's a lovely meal. And speaking of Sundays, it only happens with volunteers around here, right? So Sarma, wave your hand in the back. Sarma is our queen of volunteers. And so if you're looking, thank you. If you're looking in 2023 how you can give back in a way that isn't about money, we would love for you to give your time. And especially on Sundays. You can imagine before and then after lunch, we need help. So talk with Sarma about being able to help us with that. Also, every single Sunday, we have yoga in the afternoon with Matthew Quigley. Matthew, I saw your beautiful face. There he is. Big wave. Matthew does restorative yoga, just what Stephen was talking about. He does that every Sunday at 2 o'clock. So you can join him here. And that's not the only yoga that we have. We also have, actually every Saturday we have, is it Habitual Roots? Do I have that name right? They do yoga here every Saturday morning. And we also have a new-ish one, Integrative Yoga with Linda. All levels are welcome. That one's going to be a little bit more powerful. And let's see, I don't have, oh, every Thursday, 5:30 p.m. to 6:45. Bring your mat, journal, and pen for self-care and reflection. So that's happening all the time. And every Thursday, you don't even have to physically be here. You can join us on Zoom. Yes, we are still doing a couple of Zoom things. And so Kathy Humphreys, wave your hand. All y'all keep sitting in the back. All you people who give back, you can sit in front if you want. I'm just saying. Or even up in the balcony with Bruce. Bruce ran away. And Anna. So every Thursday at 11 a.m., you can join us via Zoom. We've been doing this since the pandemic, and people love it. It's a discussion that goes on for an hour and a half. It's going to be different every Thursday, and you get to take a deep dive. Speaking of deep dives, that's another thing that happens on Sundays. Now, Stephen, you're not leading it, but Rick and Sarma, did we decide to go ahead and do it? No, we are not. So another Sunday you can do a deep dive. What that means is that if you really loved what the theme was about, what the major message was about, we meet after lunch around 12:30 in a small facilitated group and we take a deep dive into the topic. And we're not going to do it today, so don't try. But we'll do it on another Sunday. And speaking of other Sundays, we have more amazing, amazing speakers coming. I know because I booked these people, and I even double booked them for one Sunday and had to take care of that one. Rachel Harrison will be joining us around Entangled Soul. Christine Renee Monks will be coming all the way from North Carolina to talk to us. And Aliza Sekou, if you want to look him up, he is going to talk about transformation from the cave. So if that's not intriguing, I don't know what is. So every Sunday is different. Every message is different. So show up with us every single Sunday. I think I'm coming to the end. Gong bath. If you want to be bathed by the vibrations, the healing of a gong, come join us 2 Sundays from today on January 22nd at 12:30 with Greg Wilkins to do what's called a gong bath. All of this cool stuff is on our website, so go check us out there. You can sign up for these things there. And I think that might be every little thing. So with that, I will turn it back over to Bob Burkow. Thank you so much.
Actually, she's going to turn it back over to Rick and I, and we're going to do our community song, This Little Light of Mine. So please stand as you're able and join us on This Little Light of Mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little heart of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little heart of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little heart of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little soul of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little soul of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little soul of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you so much.
Okay, all together. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
It is the birth and fulfillment of my intention.
It is the birth and fulfillment of my intention.
Life supports me.
Life supports me.
Life loves me.
Life loves me.
Life holds me.
Life holds me.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I know it.
I know it.
I am it.
I am it.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Such good thinking. There are other people who
So You know?